What's going on, guys? I'm going to show you a little bit. I got some changes on the bike I'm going to do, and show you a little bit of what got this tire dilemma thing. It's like absolutely like beautiful out here today. Pretty much the only snow we have is the little plowed up things. But I got a buddy at work that got him a deal on eBay with 4 tires. I bought these tires before. They go by different names, Falcon and Oshu or something, Oshi. Oh, you can't even see it on the camera. They got exactly the same tread pattern, and even like the sidewall writing is exactly the same. Currently got a set of them on here. These ones are actually called Falcon, but you can probably see a little bit right there. Same thing, writing on there maybe, if you can see it. But these are called Zens or something, Falcon. But anyway, the little dilemma I have with this is a 7-inch wide wheel. It's off of a Honda Accord. And then it has 205s on, which is a 205 wide tire. The only problem with that is a 205 doesn't really want to beat up on a 7-inch wide wheel. That's what size tire was on the car, so we're just assuming that's what it was supposed to use, and that's what we ordered. But man, I ended up doing the starting fluid thing in order to get it to beat up, which I really don't like doing because it just seems like extremely dangerous and like scared. Like if you don't put enough in, that it can just catch fire and burn your tire to the ground. And if you I'm worried about putting too much in and then like the thing exploding in my face. But every time I tried it so far, it worked out pretty good. It's like, I don't know, 3rd or 4th time. But one of the things I noticed with this wheel too is it has a massive amount of wheel weights on this side and on this side, which usually wheel weights are to balance the tires. Usually the tire that's out of balance, not the rim. The rims are usually, either the steel wheels punched out in a press, and then these are machined. They have a certain amount of machining. They're casted and have a certain amount of machining on them. So usually the rim ain't bad, but there is like a bash on it right here, like maybe it might be bent. So what I usually do is take these off and then just try to see how balanced the tire is, and a lot of times it's not bad enough to, that I don't want to go spend the money to have it balanced anyway. But I was wanting to kind of sample this thing out on my Saturn, and my Oldsmobile has the same bolt pattern as this. So I took the wheel off one of them. I was going to try to see how bad it was or if it's good to go or not. But the center hole on the other side of the wheel doesn't fit on it. So pretty much I'm just going to have him mount this up, and if it's off, and we'll just pull one weight off at a time and give it a run and see how it goes. But I'm going to show you guys, I bought another engine off of eBay. $190 to my door. It's missing a few things, but I have those things. I need to buy a stator for it, but I'll show you guys this. I guess anybody that might, maybe recognize it off of eBay, or maybe a future viewer that finds interest in my Chinese kind of stuff on my bikes might run into, similar interest might run into this. But it had like 8 watchers on there for like 6 weeks or so. I think I noticed it was posted. But is missing. It's missing the stator cover and the chain guard, which the chain guard pretty much looks similar to this, but more rounded. They're pretty common to get busted because it is a case saver at the same time. Kind of seats up against here, has a a piece of aluminum that goes around here, so the chain comes off too many times, it will bust the cover. But if you own one of these engines, you definitely want to replace it. I mean, it's like you can usually pick them up for $15 if you shop good. It's $15 to your door, and it's going to be a lot better to replace that than have the case here busted and maybe bust your bolt holes here. So looks like somebody's been running this one around without the cover because all the scarring that's in here. But I'm thinking I'm going to put this engine on this bike, just because that engine there was actually my backup for that one that's on the 250X. And I mentioned one time about having a transmission repair. I made a shaft for the inside, for the reverse gears and stuff, for the one that's on the 250. And this engine's kind of rare, which I've mentioned before, but just kind of looking at, I didn't make that transmission shaft out of hardened material. It was just 1026 cold roll. So, I mean, the fact that it's held up as long as it has, I can't believe it. Not this engine, but the one that's on the 250X. It's really surprised me how well it's held up. But when that breaks, that bike's going to be without an engine, and it's already set up to use this water-cooled engine. The wiring's already set up for it, and everything. So it just kind of make more sense that I'm building this bike. I don't have the wiring done or anything, so it kind of make more sense to put this one on. I was kind of hoping that this would stand up a little higher because from the deck here to the top, it's an inch shorter than that one. But something else is different because I had a certain amount of links figured out that this was going to need. It was kind of in between links, like it's right now it fell off. The chain's not connected together. But it kind of had a little bit too much slack. So you wouldn't have, you'd be using half the adjustment just to get the chain tightened up, and then this one here is exactly the same. It's almost to the top right there, about the same. So it must be maybe a little bit different in the build. Maybe the deck might be on more of a slant or standing up more from here. I don't know. But and then one of the hopes of it standing up better would be that it would at least level out my carburetor issue with but it's not going to do me any good. So pretty much with this engine, I'm still having the same dilemmas as I did with the other one, so what the heck, might as well just go with it. The gearing on this, if it's geared like the one that's on my pink bike, then that sprocket's too little. But I kind of got an idea with that as well. Even though these engines are like complete different designs, they do have similarities. The bottom end is pretty much identical to transmissions, but a lot of the gear reduction you have in these is actually, you got your clutch basket and there's teeth that goes all the way around it. Well, there's a little sprocket or a little gear on the crank. Well, those are different numbers versus different engines, or even in the same engine you could have a different size crank wheel and a different size clutch basket gear. So actually, before it even gets to the crank's power even gets to the transmission, they could be 3 or 4 to 1 before it even goes through the transmission. And then your final drive is whatever amount of teeth you have on the back and the front sprockets. So you would times that gear ratio by the other one. These things could be, 12 to 1 before, from the crank to the axle in final drive. I mean, so I can take the gears out of that one, being that I'm not using it, and it's just the cost of a gasket. And I can take the clutch basket and the crank gear out of that one, stick it in this one, and it probably will make the gearing the same as what that one would be, lower geared. And then in the event that I need that engine there, I can just snag the stuff out of the one that's blowed up, And then I would gain also some more parts. Say I end up needing a cylinder later on, the one that has the transmission problems, I can use that stuff on it. But it's looking like maybe, because this intake manifold here twists over a little bit more. I can't get it off right now. I'm going to have to grind the head off that bolt because they rounded it off, or get some vice grips on it. And the other intake manifold I was showing you, it comes off a little straighter. This thing seems to be kind of a little bit different angled and stuff, so maybe I might get lucky and it might plant the carburetor right here and it'll be awesome. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. So hopefully here pretty soon. Sorry for all the shaking. I'm going to get moving on this thing. Once I get the motor mounts in, all the rest of the motor mounts, I stopped at this point because I ordered this engine like a week ago. And it kind of stopped at this point because from what I've seen with the internal gasket, the center case gasket, all the motor mounts on these are the same. As far as the layout around the engine, all the mounts are the same, but I didn't want to take any chances, and so I just kind of delayed the motor mount thing until I got this engine. So I guess this video is getting a little long. Well, thanks for watching, and any comments, or want to call me the ADD guy because I can't make up my mind what I want to put in this bike. So, alright, well, I'll catch you guys later.